Well, welcome. It is February 21st today, and we are heading out to do a little shed hunting. We have had a good winter. Good winter meaning a real winter. This part of our state of Michigan, for the last several winters, we'll get snow, and then we'll get 3 or 4 days later, we'll get a spike, warm up for a week, all that snow will melt away. So shed hunting wise, that hasn't really been an issue the last few years. You might not be able to go a day or two and then everything's gone and you can get right back out there, but this year, that's not been the case. We've gotten a pretty good, healthy amount of snow, and we've had cold weather for a while now, so the snow has not melted off. So I think it's February 21st today. I think the last time we went out shed hunting was mid-January, so it's probably been a month where we've just had more snow than I feel like shed hunting in, basically. So we've had anywhere from 6 to maybe 12 inches of snow on the ground pretty much for the last month, depending on what day it was and whatnot. But it got warmed up a little bit yesterday, and it is a little bit warmer again today. It's right around freezing today, so that snow is starting to settle down. Just feels like a good day to be outside, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna jump out of the truck here in a second and go see what we can see. It'll be a little tougher, obviously, with this snow. There's gonna be antlers that have been out for a while. They might just have tines sticking out of the snow or something, if anything's showing, and then anything fresh, hopefully. This snow's been kind of packed, so anything that's dropped in the last week maybe should be sitting on top. So we'll see. Hopefully, because of the snow, there hasn't been as many people out here. This area we're in is public ground. It's closed to hunting, but it's open. Anyone can walk through it. It's a park. So it's a really large, several thousand acres. Just great area for shed hunting. Tons of deer, a lot of bucks, some really good bucks. But it's by no means hours. We'll have, every time I'm out here, there's competition. We've already passed 2 cars parked, whether they're shed hunting or just walking around, I don't know, but there's always people out here walking around. There's always other shed hunters. So maybe this snow will have kind of slowed some of that down. We'll see. Unfortunately, it's supposed to be warm this week. This snow will be taking a big hit this week. It'll be gone or close to gone by the end of this week. So next week, end of next week into the weekend should be a really good time to be out shed hunting, but we'll be up ice fishing. So unfortunately, we won't be here for that. We'll have to try and maybe get out the weekend after and clean up anything that the masses have missed, but we'll give it a whirl. But for right now, we're gonna head out here. I'm just about to get parked. I'll get my boots swapped and we'll head out there, see what we can see. So come along, hopefully we can show you some fresh sheds. Well, we're in the woods now, as you can tell, looking around here, walking some runs, working our way over to one of the known bedding areas in here. We'll loop through a couple bedding areas here and then head kind of the other direction. But as I was getting out of the truck, a guy stopped and asked if we'd had any luck. Talked to him for a minute, but he was just through here. He said, I hit that pretty hard yesterday. You'll see my tracks. And we started walking, and yep, there's tracks. So he said he's found 9 so far this year, so he's doing better than I am for sure. But like I said, I haven't spent a whole lot of time out here, but they are out here, so it goes to show they are here. They were here anyways. But we're gonna take off. As you can see, I'm following this pretty heavily used run, goes up kind of up that little ridge over the other side, and there's some bedding and stuff back in there. There's also bedding over this way, so I think we're gonna go straight ahead, make a big loop, come back through that bedding and back across the road by the truck. So we'll give it a whirl, see what happens. A beautiful day, just sunny. Get in the woods, it cuts the wind down. It's about 32, 31 degrees, so beautiful day here, winter day here in Michigan. Well, walking in the snow can be very educational. Even if you're not shed hunting, I highly recommend scouting when there's some snow on the ground, because it'll tell you quite a bit about bedding. Obviously, you can see, where deer are bedding, if they're bedding there. When you have snow, you can see each bed. You can tell how recent the bedding was, so you can see, are deer bedding there once, they just walking through, decide to bed for a little bit, you chew some cud or something, and then they move on? Or is it a spot where there's many beds from different days, where you can tell that bed's older than this one's newer, to where they're going in there, they're laying there quite a bit. Another thing you can tell is where they're not at. And I'm in like the corner of a field. You can kind of see the field out here behind me. I'm into the woods in the corner, and then over here it drops into this bowl. And this little flat in this corner, when we came in January, was littered with beds. There's 20 beds right here. They were feeding in that field. The deer were bedding right off the edge of the field like they do in the winter, so they could pop in and out of that field all day long and feed. There's not a single bed in here right now. So clearly, and I could go out and look at that field and see the same thing, probably looking at tracks, but it tells me very clearly that they are not feeding here. We walked around to the other side of the bowl, and there was some beds there, but not nearly like it was in January. So again, just tells me that there's not as much activity right in this area because this field out here is fed out. They're not feeding in it right now. So again, just things you can pick up. It's very, very, very easy when there's snow on the ground. You can pick up on all these things. So no beds in this area. I'm going to go back kind of in, let's see, it'd be this direction. Sorry, everything's backwards. Go out in there, and we'll head through another bedding area. There was quite a few beds in there. Got less and less as I moved into this bowl, which tells me, like I said, they're just not bedding in here. They're not feeding out in these fields right now. So I did find a lot of that guy's tracks, so he wasn't lying. He's peppered this area pretty good. Is what it is. We're going to head back, find some more beds, try to find some more action where there's a little more consistent activity. See what we see. Well, we have found some bedding. Like I said before, we were in an area that they were not bedding in. We went to a different area. As you can see, kind of behind me, it's open, I guess. It's open enough that the sun's getting through, but there's enough brush and stem count to kind of give them areas to tuck into. And this whole little ridge, I guess you could call it, all through here is just littered with beds. Let's see. We got a bed right here. It'll be right there. And there's a bunch over here by this tree and all through this whole area. There's some over here, and there's just clumps of them everywhere. There's one right behind me now that I turned around. So huge, there's a big bedding area. There's like 2 or 3 different bowls in this kind of higher ridge open area. It kind of sits between them. So not surprising they can lay up here, feel pretty protected, but also in the sun, trying to get the warmth from the sun on those colder days. Have not found a shed yet. Kind of surprising, but we'll crew through this whole bedding area. We'll cut it up pretty good and make sure we cover it all pretty good. But definitely found the bedding. This time of year, obviously, when you're shed hunting, you're looking for either beds, feeding areas, or the trails between bed and feed. So normally we would be out coming and checking these fields once or twice a week to get a feel for where the deer are so we can pinpoint our shed hunting activities, but we haven't really done that this year. Just been busy. So we're a little behind the 8 ball, but luckily with the snow, you can figure it out pretty quick. So that's what we're doing now, or what I'm doing now, is trying to figure out where they're at, and they're definitely in here. So we're going to cut up this bedding area a few times, make a few passes through here, make sure we don't miss anything, and then we'll move out in this direction down into this bowl and kind of around the edges and see what else we can find. Well, as you can see, we've definitely kind of switched. Let me turn around so you can see what I'm looking into. We kind of switched our scenery here. We're in some thicker stuff now, but still finding lots of beds. I actually kicked a couple deer up out of here on my way through. So finding different types of bedding areas. Some open areas to let them get into that sun when the sun's shining. Then some thicker areas that really hide them away, probably hide them from the wind and kind of keep them tucked in for safety. So lots of different areas, but lots of easy sign to read out here in the snow. So still no sheds, finding all kinds of beds. There's actually a bed right there. And there's several beds back all through here. I just walked kind of through there. So actually there's a couple beds. There's that one, and then a couple more in here as well. So lots of beds in here, lots of tracks, lots of fresh tracks. Obviously, like I said, I kicked a couple deer out of here, so we'll keep looking, but no sheds yet. Maybe we'll find one through this bedding area. We'll see. Where'd I go? I can't see around the other side, but that's a pretty nice rub right there. I stopped at the truck, kind of recharge the batteries. I'm gonna make a quick loop. We're getting a little bit into the afternoon now, so make a quick loop through an area that we found some sheds in before, and then call it a day, I think. So we haven't gone too far mile wise. We're at about 2 miles right now, so certainly not like a end all be all crazy shed walk. You can see we're on the edge of a field right now, walking back into this area, but haven't done a ton of miles like I was saying. But we've hit some pretty sorry, stick caught my attention. We've hit some pretty high traffic areas, so not a ton of miles, but we've spent our time in good areas for the most part. As you can tell, out on this field edge, wind has picked up, so we're gonna get up this edge through back into the woods. There's kind of a field, kind of an opening in there. Generally gets a lot of deer sign, a lot of activity, so we'll head back in there. Well, I made it across that open field through a little, well, you can kind of see behind me through this little bit of the edge of the woods from the field. You can kind of see it there. And now I'm in this nice big open area with some cedars and different things in here that draw deer into bed. So we'll make a lap around here, and then we'll head back to the truck. Like I said, we're getting a little bit later into the afternoon, so can't spend all day searching through here, but we'll definitely make a lap, kind of check it out, see what kind of sign is in here. Again, like I said earlier, we haven't been as diligent kind of keeping tabs on the deer around here this year, so take a quick cruise through here, see what the sign tells me, see if it's worth coming back maybe later, and hopefully find a shed. You can tell we're in some thicker stuff now. Got off that opening, looking through this bedding along the edge of it. Lots of beds, lots of sign. No sheds. We are away from boot tracks. We haven't seen nearly as many boot tracks in this area as we were on the other side, so I guess that's good. And did see a ton of tracks in some woods along the edge. There's just major runs and lots of bedding. So definitely using this area, which is a good sign. We'll see what we can see. We're gonna continue to make this loop. We'll end up back out in that open field that I showed you a minute ago. We'll check some of the common bedding out in there and some of the runs, and then work our way back to the truck and call it a day. It's nice in this thick stuff. The wind's blocked and just quiet. So quiet when you get all this snow on the ground, but quiet and calm in here. Pretty nice day, but we'll push on here. We're walking that same area. I see a dead deer laying over here. Take a look. We actually just jumped up some deer that were on the other side of a little drain that we're walking along the edge of. I'm not heading over there today. I just don't have the time, unfortunately, but you can see this dead deer right there. Let's see what we got. Looks like a decent sized deer. It's definitely old or something. Looks like it was curled up when it died. Oh, it's a shed buck. Oh, there you go. I'll spin this camera around real quick. Not a very big basis, so must just be a year and a half old. Looked big, but who knows? But we'll take a look at it here. There you can see that leg, how it's kind of folded up underneath him, as if he laid down there. So I pulled its head up out of the snow a little bit so you could see. There's the pedicle there where it's shed, so it was a shed buck. Unfortunately, I can't find his sheds anywhere. I'm sure they're not right here or anything. They had this happen one other time out here too. Found a dead buck that had already shed in this little opening, so that's a bummer. But we'll keep pushing. Maybe he dropped him somewhere in here and we'll find him. Well, I just found a dead deer right back in there somewhere. It was just a little button buck. And now I just found another one right there. We'll go check this one out. Kind of strange, just another little one it looks like, but there'll be 3 dead deer on the day. This looks like a doe. It's been there a while. So 3 dead ones on the day, but no sheds. We're just about done. If anything's gonna happen, it's gonna have to happen in the next about 2 minutes because we're about back to the truck. So we'll see. I'm gonna make a loop back kind of behind through this stuff and then come back this way and I'll be at the truck. So one last push. Well, that'll do it. Unsuccessful shed walk today. I didn't look at my tracker on Onyx, but I'm guessing probably 3.5, 4 miles. So again, nothing epic or anything, but spent it in plenty of sign. I definitely didn't waste my time, walking barren areas. I was in a lot of bedding areas, a lot of tracks, so definitely used my miles as best I could, but no luck today. As you can see, that western sky is getting a little low. Not quite dark, obviously. Not even really sunset yet, but we're getting to evening. So we'll head back here. I got 50 yards to the truck, and we'll see if we get out here again. Maybe later this week. Like I said, the snow is gonna continue to melt down, so we'll be out ice fishing this coming weekend. Maybe the weekend after that we'll go up to the main property, do some big shed hunting there. We'll be putting miles on those days. We got a lot of ground to cover up there, and we're gonna be really thorough with it up there. So plenty more shed hunting to go. Hopefully some successful shed hunting to come. So take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Sorry we couldn't bring you an antler. Trust me, I really wanted to, but such is life. Take care, everybody.